Are you ready?
Quit time!
We are the best in the world at what we do.
It's the PriMalLow Wrestling Show with Robert Price, Tom Malloy, and your host, Rich Lopez.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode number 47 of the PriMalLow Wrestling Show. I'm your host, Rich Lopez, and I'm going to have my two colleagues, Robert Price and Tom Malloy, join me over the phone for a brief segment where we recap Raw and Fastlane. Reason being, I was out of town on Tuesday. I was in Vegas for a wedding for a couple days, so I was unable to meet in person. But they're dedicated, and as am I, so we agreed to talk over the phone, much like we did a couple of weeks prior when I was in New Jersey. So I just want to thank Robert and Tom in advance for helping me with the recap portion over the phone. Also on the show, we have a couple segments that we did last week, pre-recorded. We have our topic discussion where we talk about the PG content in WWE. Is that going to be out the door soon, and are they going to move to TV 14 like the Attitude Era? Also on the show, we have another session of a WrestleMania remake. This week, we're going to cover WWE title matches that we would like to change. We're going to have two options, so you're going to hear that. And as always, we're going to close out our show with our self-high five. Last week, we did WWF superstars who should have been champion prior to the brand extension. This week we're going to continue that theme, and we're going to pick 5 superstars that we would have picked to be champion during the brand extension. So hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Next week I promise we'll be back in person live for episode number 48. But until then, here is episode 47. So after this short break, it is the Fastlane and Raw recap. Stay tuned.
Time to play the game. Time to play the game!
Okay, guys, let's just get right into this since we are kind of on a tight little scheduling conflict. All right, Price, let's start with you, and then we'll go right into Malloy's opinion as well. What were your overall thoughts on the Fastlane pay-per-view?
Overall, I was pretty happy with the Fastlane pay-per-view. I very much liked the Becky Lynch-Sasha Banks match. I was disappointed with the Charlotte and Brie Bella match. AJ Styles and Chris Jericho really stepped up, and I was surprisingly happy with the Kane Ryback Big Show versus the Wyatt family.
Yeah, I completely agree with you on that one. That was, for 6 Giants, that wasn't too bad of a match. When I first read the spoilers, because I was in Vegas, so I couldn't watch it live, but when I was reading the spoilers, I was shocked at how the Wyatt family did not go over. But I guess it kind of makes sense for them not to go over if Bray wasn't actually in the match.
Right.
So.
And then they redid it the very next night with,
Ryback leaving,
the
yeah.
Wyatt family actually winning, so.
Yeah, that's what I hate. I hate when they do rematches from the pay-per-view and it's a different outcome. But we'll talk about Raw in a little bit. Before we get into the main event and the triple threat, Moy, what were your thoughts on the Fastlane pay-per-view?
I really enjoyed the Fastlane pay-per-view. I really thought it delivered for, the medium show between the Rumble and WrestleMania. I was a big fan of the Chris Jericho AJ Styles match. Like Price said, they really delivered. I was actually shocked that the Wyatt family did not beat the old dinosaurs in Ryback. I found that rather interesting, but that's WWE created for you.
Yeah.
Go
ahead.
I'm looking forward to see where WrestleMania takes us.
All right, well, let's just get right into that pretty much because it started with that triple threat main event with Brock Lesnar, Dean Ambrose, and Roman Reigns. Obviously, everybody was kind of pulling for Dean Ambrose because he's kind of the cool underdog guy with the, the Asylum, insane gimmick, and Reigns is just obviously just not 100% over yet. So, but that obviously wasn't the case with Reigns going over, and now he's going to face Triple H for the WWE title at WrestleMania. So, did you guys agree with the outcome? What would you have preferred? Price, we'll start with you.
I very much like this match. I was not happy with the outcome. I really thought that Dean Ambrose, they were building him up to win this match, and what we later found out, not to spoil it from Raw, but Dean Ambrose and Brock Lesnar are going to have a match at WrestleMania, and they're still pushing Roman Reigns, even though that he's getting booed out of the building.
Do you think they're coming to the turn? Well, actually, I'll save that question for the Raw recap. Malloy, what did you think? Did you enjoy the match? Did you enjoy the outcome? Would you have changed the outcome?
Oh, without a doubt, it was a great match. You can't say it was not a bad match, but just the fact that put Roman Reigns over, and I versus Triple H. Him versus Triple H may be a good match at Mania, but having him win it's not going to help the Roman Reigns brand in the future.
I can't disagree with you guys at all. I agree 100% with both of your sides. I thought Ambrose should have went over, and even furthermore, which we'll talk about like second with Raw, I really don't understand how the Shane McMahon thing comes into play, and he doesn't have a feud with Triple H, but Roman Reigns does. If that makes any sense, I just don't understand. I feel like it would have been more money on the table with Shane and Triple H rather than Reigns, but I agree. I just don't think it's gonna help the Reigns brand unless for some reason creative is gonna do maybe like a double turn or something like that, if that makes any sense, because they know that he's not 100% over. Merchandise is obviously proving that because it's gone down compared to last year when it was around this time. So I want to see what they do with that, because I think they're coming to the terms that he's not 100% over. Another match that we really didn't talk about just before I segue this out of this Fastlane, the Intercontinental title match. I thought that was actually a pretty decent match. Kevin Owens obviously retained the title against Dolph. Did you guys agree with that at all? Price?
Yes.
Price?
Go ahead, Tom.
I definitely think that having Kevin Owens keep the belts is best for business. I mean, it was a good match. You can't say it wasn't, but having Kevin Owens win is definitely a major part of it.
Okay, Price?
I totally agree with Kevin Owens holding the title. I mean, you can't give somebody Intercontinental title, especially how they're trying to build a prestige, and have them lose within 6 days.
Yeah. And then finally, the pre-show. Kalisto beating Del Rio in a 2 out of 3 falls match. What did you guys think about that, Price? I know you said you enjoyed that when I texted you on Sunday night.
It was pretty nice. They let Del Rio get the early heat, was hitting Kalisto with the steel chair and giving that heel heat.
Okay.
And Kalisto just decided that he would bring it, and Alberto Del Rio compliments his style, and you could definitely tell that when those two wrestled, and it was not a pre-show match.
Oh yeah,
I really think that the Divas match should have been the pre-show match.
I agree. As much as I always said that I really want to see 2 Diva matches on a card, I think WrestleMania should have been the first pay-per-view for that to happen. However, I'm kind of glad that this feud is probably in the books now, and hopefully Sin Cara can get a nice little feud going with either one superstar or multiple superstars, because that's the only thing that I think that was holding him back was Del Rio, and since that's in the books, I think the sky's the limit for Kalisto. Malloy, do you have any thoughts on that before we go to Raw?
I just feel as though it should have been on the main show, not on the pre-show. I think they should have kept the Edge and Christian thing on the pre-show.
I completely agree. And before I go into Raw, I really am upset that Enzo and Big Cass did not come out. There's really no surprises for Fastlane, so I'm kind of hurt by that. So
I totally agree with you. The segment with Edge and Christian, I think all three of us were disappointed that Enzo and Cass did not come out.
yes, I agree, and I just hope next year for the next year's Fastlane, because this one was progressive, was a little bit better than last year's, which was the inaugural event. But I just hope there's a little bit more surprises. We didn't see any double turns or any, people costing people matches or any surprise appearances. It would be nice to have one of those, have that on maybe 1 or 2 of those on next year's card, just to set up the big feel for WrestleMania. So we'll see what happens next year. Let's just go right into Raw right now. Obviously, the biggest thing out of that was Shane McMahon returning for the Vincent J. McMahon Award. Price, I remember on Facebook we had a number of our fans were saying it was going to be Undertaker. Some people, did I hear somebody else say, did somebody call Stephanie? Or I forget. I forget.
I said Triple H.
That's what it was. I knew not everybody was Undertaker, but I know the majority of them were Undertaker. I wanted Pat Patterson because I thought it was actually going to be a serious award. I didn't know it was just going to be a storyline award, so I kind of failed on that one. But Price, we'll start off with you because I remember you revealed who it was. You said it was Shane McMahon on Facebook. What did you think of his return?
I think that Shane McMahon coming back is it's a breath of fresh air into the company. Obviously, if it does end up being Shane versus Undertaker at WrestleMania, I think that it's going to be a great match. However, I want to toss this over to Tom because he said something very interesting about this match.
I was gonna segue right into it. Malloy, you mentioned on Facebook your idea. I don't know. You could obviously repeat it on here, and then we'll go from there. Go ahead.
I think the best idea would be, because I don't think Shane McMahon, he's just a risk taker. He'd be good for, he's an ECW brand wrestler. And I don't think overall having him face The Undertaker, where it could be possibly Undertaker's last match, have him wrestle. So I was thinking the conclusion I had in my head, who was the last owner of WCW? It was Shane McMahon during the Invasion storyline.
Mm-hmm.
So he brings in one of his WCW guys, and that's Sting.
Stinger Goldberg. There's for some. Yeah, I can't go wrong. I mean, that's perfect scenario, and that's awesome because usually you're not one to plan like that. So that was really cool for you to do, and I've been reading reports. It's not Sting, it's not Strowman, it's not Cena. I heard it was Goldberg, which is also another WCW guy that would fit your storyline. But obviously Sting does make the best sense because he is WCW. Price, what did you think when you read that from Malloy?
I totally marked out because for the past, 3 or 4 months I was saying Sting versus Undertaker, even when you guys were telling me that he needs to go for surgery. Well, Rich was telling me that he needs to go for surgery.
Yeah.
And that it probably wouldn't happen. But you know how I am. I mean, Jake the Snake Roberts is going to be a spotted entry in the 2017 Royal Rumble, I'm already telling you.
Yeah, you got it down, definitely, 100%. Now, here's my question just to kind of create the other side of the fence scenario. Say Shane McMahon is actually the one, because not the original plan, everybody knows the original plan was Cena, and that still actually could be the case, I read, but the reports early last week where it was somebody that was not currently on the roster, and Shane McMahon obviously is not currently on the roster, so he does fit the current storyline. Do you think Shane McMahon versus Undertaker Hell in a Cell is a good match to watch if it was like tomorrow? Price.
Yeah. Yes.
Yes?
I agree with Tom, yes.
Okay, why?
Because of the fact that Shane McMahon, no matter what, will leave his body out there. And he will put everything into it because he knows that it's the greatest stage of them all. And he knows that he has to prove something in this match more than Undertaker has to prove in this match.
I agree. I honestly don't think this is Undertaker's last match, so I think this match will be okay. Especially with Shane, who is still fit. I just saw a video. He was doing jiu-jitsu training with a guy getting ready for the match. Malloy, do you think this match will be entertaining?
Yeah, just the fact that you have Undertaker, and with professional wrestling, you have to have storyline. That's the purpose to have a match, and that storyline, which can culminate from now to WrestleMania, can build up to be a better storyline than Triple H versus Roman Reigns. So I think it'll be exciting to watch because Shane's he's a badass in the ring. He doesn't care about his body. He'll leave it all out there. And Shane McMahon has never had a true WrestleMania moment yet.
Okay. Like I said, you guys are on the ball today, even though we're not in person. I guess the last thing we could do is to wrap up the Raw recap and pretty much just this portion of the show with the over the phone. Triple H Roman Reigns segment was very, very physical. Roman Reigns was busted open, and a lot of people were saying it was a blood capsule. Did you guys enjoy the segment, or what did you guys think about it? Did it make Reigns look weak? Price, we can start with you on what your thoughts about that one was.
I thought it was awesome. Triple H coming out, the old Triple H, beating the crap out of everyone and, making people bleed. I mean, I love the blood, even if it was he bladed or if it was a blood pack. As we just stated last week that, they stopped using blood packs. So I just thought it was awesome.
I agree. I don't understand why people are making a big deal out of the blood capsule. If you want blood and you obviously don't want to get in trouble for blading, what's the issue with a blood capsule just to add an extra element to the story that you're trying to tell? There's nothing wrong with it. You know what I mean? Like, that adds intrigue. So if it's a blood capsule, if it's the hard way, if it's blading, as long as it's possible to add that extra element, let's accept it because we don't get to see it that often. Moy, what were your thoughts? I know you're a big Triple H fan, so.
It was awesome to see like that badass Triple H to come out to the ring, whoop Roman Reigns around, throw him around the ring. With the broadcasting, to me, it's entertainment. I mean, like you said, it brings some more elements to the story, and it makes the product better. It's a good storytelling method. I can't wait to see. I mean, Triple H being this physical this early on, which either one of them could get injured at any moment in time.
Yeah.
So I cannot wait to see how physical the match is going to be at WrestleMania.
Do you think WWE Creative will close out with this? Do you think they're going to accept Reigns being booed at WrestleMania? Because, I mean, last on Raw, Triple H was getting cheered and Reigns was getting booed, and obviously we still have another 5 weeks to go. So do you think they're going to accept it and go with it?
They're going to have a double cross at Mania. If he beats Triple H, he's going to shake Triple H's hand and become a part of the Authority.
Something like that. I just feel like it's too I just feel like they're accepting it too much, and also I feel like they have nowhere to go. Price, how about you?
I agree with Tom. It has to be a double cross. I mean, this is theoretically the Christmas for wrestling fans. So we want everything to be perfect. And Roman Reigns going out as the babyface champion is not going to be, cheered unless they have the fireworks like how Cena won the World Heavyweight title. I don't remember what WrestleMania it was, but they had the fireworks going off. He put the title on top of his head because it drowned out the boos.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see. Like I said, we have another 5 more weeks, and obviously next week when we're all together, we'll go more in depth when we have more time and talk about it. But for right now, I know we are on a crisp schedule. I just want to thank you guys for joining me and getting this done. I know our audience was waiting for this, and like I told you, we made that promise months ago that we're never going to stop with an episode. We're going to continuously do it. So thank you guys for, giving me a couple minutes of your time. And next week, episode 48, we're going hard, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you guys.
Bye.
Just want to thank you guys for tuning in to that Fastlane and Raw recap. And I just want to let you guys know that episode 47 is not over. After this short break, we are going to continue with the show. We have our topic discussion, as well as our WrestleMania remake. And as always, we're going to close out the show with our Self High Five. So please stay tuned.
Hey, I'm Tom Malloy from the PriMalLow Wrestling Show. Do you like Facebook? Do you like wrestling? Like our page, search the PriMalLow Wrestling Show. Enjoy.
It is time for our topic discussion. This week, it is the PG content that I think is kind of in question due to, I'm going to say the stable, the New Day, based on their gyration and all that stuff, which, hey, I'm all for it. I'm all about the TV-14.
All about that booty.
All about that booty, I guess. That kind of sounded weird. I'm just about the TV-14 content. I know you like booty, Malloy. But I want to hear your guys' thoughts on it. I want to hear Robert Price's thoughts. I want to hear Tom Malloy's thoughts. Is PG coming to an end? Price.
Yes.
Why?
Because.
No,
No, that's it. I believe that PG has stated its welcome. They're going to go a little bit edgier, not TV-14,
Yes.
but a little bit edgier, just so that they're not, they did this before. The fans grow up and they want something different, and then Vince and everybody else, cater to them because those are the people that they are already making money off of, and then just keeps going in a cycle.
Yeah, the New Day, they've been doing a lot of gyrating. You can see in the interview with Michael Cole, they did that little recorder thing that looked kind of
Provocative.
DX-like, I like to call it, but obviously a lot more watered down compared to 97. I feel like, the Goldust thing with R-Truth with the champagne. Yeah, very bad. But Malloy, what do you think about PG? Is it going to fade away?
Yeah, because Linda McMahon isn't running for any offices as of late. She started her own company.
Yep, that's what I said that about. I'm glad you
She has no image to worry about, so her husband can go back to cheating on her with divas and everything else.
With Paige and Charlotte.
Yeah, didn't he call his boat the B word? Something like that.
The boat.
Like, no, he named his boat like something B, like
The B word.
But yeah, Vince McMahon's probably loving this.
He's like, yeah, Linda, do your thing, girl.
Yeah. But
Oh, I know what he named his boat. It's the word that we call Sin Cara whenever he messes up any of his spots.
the botch.
The botch.
Definitely not it. Sakara's been good, cut him some slack. But on a marketing level, you could probably say that this PG kind of helped him out on a reputation level. Obviously with Make-A-Wish, which people don't talk about it, but in the Attitude Era, Make-A-Wish was still there.
Yeah, The Rock was doing, so was Austin.
Yeah,
They were doing
that's what I
Make-A-Wish
mean.
every week.
Somebody made a Make-A-Wish that they want to drink a beer with Austin.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
In
Like
that era, so I mean,
so it's always been there. It just wasn't touched upon because their attitude was, or their corporation was like edgy, and you don't want you want the party atmosphere. You don't want this, make a loved one's day or something. But do you think the market's going to hurt if they go from PG to TV 14?
Certain sponsors will pull out. I believe they just got Coca-Cola as a sponsor for the tribute to the troops. That's a pretty huge one. And if they're switching to TV 14, I mean, they're not going to get strip clubs. They never had that, but I mean,
They might get the GoDaddy commercials back.
yeah. That's what I mean.
Do you think they'll? So do you think with the big sponsors like Coca-Cola, Make-A-Wish is obviously really, really reputable. Do you think
Geico.
they will change? So no.
Yeah, I think that'll change to a little bit more different sponsorships. But a lot of sponsors will jump on them if they're getting edgier because
True.
that was the highest rating thing. They were pulling in 4s, almost 5s
Mm-hmm.
on a weekly basis.
Well, no, 98, man. They're pulling 7s, man. That's crazy. 98,
I was just
99.
saying 4 or 5s on a weekly basis, like on an average.
Oh, my bad, dude. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Sorry.
Don't
dude.
talk ratings with me.
All right. Well, I'm gonna
I'm
talk
joking with
ratings.
you.
I'm gonna talk about your personal, what you personally want. Do you want PG-13 or do you want TV-14? Do you want rated R?
TV-14.
What do you want?
I want
14?
TV-14.
Okay.
I
I
want
want the rated R
X.
superstar
Of course
back.
you do. Why do you want TV-14 back? Do you think the athleticism that you see now in the PG era, where you need to sell on wrestling, will be there in TV-14?
No, because they're able to curse and have edgier matches with spots on a regular basis. Actually, what I want is science and the health department to move fast enough that these wrestlers can take chair shots to the head
That's
and
not
not have
possible.
concussions.
That's not possible. And that's my biggest pet peeve, which we talked about a couple episodes before. Hate the gut chair shot. Like, you don't
hate it.
open up for a gut chair shot. I'd like to get hit in the head.
So rather than people walking around with concussions, they're just not going to be able to walk, period, because
Yeah.
their spines are messed up.
Exactly. What do you personally want, Malloy? Do you want PG-13 or TV-14? Not
Oh.
PG-13, sorry, PG or TV-14?
I would love to see TV-14 come back because I believe the wrestling has improved so much over the past years. Like you said it before, this is a great roster.
Do you think
Now-
do you think wrestling will sell as much so in TV-14?
Oh my god! If you have these amazing matches plus like these edgy storylines, it can make more people who do not get the credit they deserve because they are not the best wrestlers they can get for being an edgy superstar versus the fact of like Dean Ambrose. He's a total package. He's an edgy superstar that has a great moveset.
Yeah.
Same with same with Roman Reigns if put in the right predicament,
Okay.
and same with Seth Rollins.
Okay.
It opens a window for everyone.
I completely agree with you guys.
Dolph Ziggler will probably come out in thong, but that's besides the point.
You probably will. You definitely will try. I can't agree with you guys more, but here's my final question regarding this topic. When do you think the change will come, or when do you where you see more of this edgy product? Do you know what I mean?
WrestleMania 33.
33?
Yep.
Okay. Give it a whole year to build.
Right.
Okay. Malloy?
The death of Vince McMahon.
You sounded so bad. Sounded so bad. Even though Triple H is like a wrestler's guy,
Yeah, he wants the golden age actually back.
do you actually think that's gonna happen?
Well, he wants the Golden Age back. I'd be cool for a Golden Age just because I think it was better storytelling than it is now, but that's besides the point.
Okay. I think it's gonna happen. I think it's only gonna happen in wrestling cities, if that makes sense. It's hard to explain. I think the 4 main pay-per-views they'll have in the big. I don't know. It's really hard.
The big
to say.
marquee places like
Yeah,
Chicago,
exactly,
New
where they
York,
accept the
Philadelphia,
edgy,
New
yeah.
Jersey,
Mhm.
Anaheim.
I don't know, but I guess, but there'll be one California
LA.
town. I'm still trying to debate which wrestling town is the California town.
Every time it's in Philly, though, I think it's PG-13 or
TV-14.
TV-14. Yeah.
It's rated
Especially
R.
Philly and New York markets.
It's
are
NR
definitely-
actually, not rated.
They'll get away with it earlier, so like anytime after WrestleMania 32, I think they're gonna try it just for a test and see how it goes.
Right. Hi, I'm Robert from the PriMalLow Wrestling Show, here to tell you about our Twitter account. Follow our page at PriMalLow Show for fan interaction regarding professional wrestling. Thank you, and we can't wait to hear from you.
It is time for our 4th segment on episode 47. Last week we did it with the Undertaker's opponents at WrestleMania. This week it is WrestleMania main event title matches. These main events could have been on SmackDown or Raw if you chose those WrestleMania time frames, or you could just do just the normal WWF title, WWE title, whatever your choice was. We had 2 options like we did last week. Price, you could start it off. WrestleMania title match main events. Where you going with?
My number one out of the 2 choices. So
Yes.
I have 2 choices. My first choice was WrestleMania 16. I'd have Triple H versus The Rock and Mick Foley. get rid of Big Show, let him have a match elsewhere, maybe
Kane.
hopefully
Kane.
win.
Win.
Yeah, hopefully Big Show win, change that kind of storyline, because I always had a problem with how Big Show lost, but he's this huge guy. He's this attraction.
That's true. I didn't even think of it like that. That does make sense.
But anyways, I had Mick Foley winning after his retirement, came back, wins the belt, throws it down.
The tournament.
Says, yeah.
I always wish they did that just to see the tournament. It could have started fresh with new stars, especially with Taker and Austin out. You know what I mean? So I definitely like that one. Molly? So do you have any more to say?
No, that's it.
Okay, sorry.
Go ahead, Tom.
Molly?
I don't have them in chronological order because I feel as though this is, I think, the biggest match that should have been changed around. I'm talking about WrestleMania 19, Booker T versus Triple H.
Okay, so you're keeping the people.
I'm keeping the people there, except for the fact I think Booker T should have won. Booker T, number one, probably hands down top 5 WCW wrestlers
Of all time? Or like at the end of the closing? Like,
I would say from 99 till their death.
okay, I'll give you that.
So
Definitely give you that.
Booker T, 5-time world champion, who's a legitimate superstar, who has done it all, except for one on the grand stage, the biggest belt. Because I think the World Heavyweight title overtook the WWE title those years when Triple H had it on Raw.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, because it was the face of the WWE.
The face of the company.
Yeah.
So, with that said, I think Booker T should have won it and should have kept the belt for a while.
I think you'd have kept it till, like, even just...
Probably Backlash,
Yeah,
even have Triple H come back and win it. You know what I mean?
Well, I heard the report was, like, he was supposed to win, but Triple H said no. And that's why they did all
That's
this.
when Triple H was a pompous, what.
Yeah.
No.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Yeah, right? And the thing, too, I thought they just really buried Booker T. Like, Booker T did everything. He did the scissors kick, spinneroonie, which really isn't a move, but did the Harlem Hangover, which I don't think he did in, like, forever, which is the front flip. And then Triple H beats him with a pedigree. Just one pedigree. After a couple seconds of laying on the ground. Do you know what I mean?
And the storyline was like it was built for Booker T to win.
Yep.
Like you were this guy who was in jail, all this other stuff, and now all of a sudden, Triple H is still like that blue blood.
Mm-hmm.
That's what he played in those years. I felt like he brought back that Hunter Hearst Helmsley gimmick.
He was just prestigious and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Evolution, the suits, big title, or Ric Flair, who's how he was. The high roll and lifestyle. The thing, that's another thing too. I always compared. It's not on that level because of the fan interaction, but the spinneroonie at the time, like post summer of 2002 to WrestleMania, the spinneroonie was the hottest thing. Like after Raw's,
Booker T did the spin.
That's
Or
what I mean.
not Booker T. Undertaker.
No, he did. They didn't. He never did it. They
He
tried
came
to
out
get
and
him
he
to
just
go.
was like.
Yeah, but like post Raw's, people would come out to do the spinneroonie. It was the hottest thing. Do you know what I mean? So
I remember Kane and Rooney.
yeah, exactly. So.
But Rich, why don't you give us your first one?
Yeah, I want to go with the one. I mean, well, I guess it would be chronological order anyway. I'm gonna go WrestleMania 20. I talked to you about this a couple Fridays ago. Benoit won the Royal Rumble in 2004, and he obviously went. He was SmackDown when he won, and then he went to Raw. I thought he should have stayed on SmackDown, and then he could have faced Kurt Angle and Eddie Guerrero in the main event at WrestleMania 20 in Madison Square Garden. I can't even imagine the match that those three could have had because they were without a doubt. You could maybe put Chris Jericho, in the mix as best wrestlers on the roster. So I can only imagine what they
Without
would
a
have did.
doubt.
You know what I mean? So I was just going to say you could even put Christian in that roster at that time because they had a great match at WrestleMania 20. I mean, obviously he's known more as a tag team guy, but those three definitely, Benoit, Angle, and Guerrero, probably would have tore the house down. As great as that match was with Michaels and Triple H, I just think on a wrestling basis, Benoit, Angle, and Guerrero could have did better.
And that's when Angle came out of his shell from being like the jokester
To serious guy.
to serious, like, Angle's gonna kick your butt. You know?
I completely agree.
I love the censorship on this episode.
This one's will have Well, it's mainly Malloy. I said hell once in a while. I just did right there, but
What?
he's usually saying.
I didn't say Triple H is a pompous donkey or anything like that.
That's true. That's true.
Jack,
Let's bring it around. Bring it around again.
bring it around town.
Price started up.
My number 2 is WrestleMania 24. As much as I like Undertaker, I was not happy with, and as much as I like Charles Robinson running down that ramp, I mean, that's an awesome moment. WrestleMania moment for him, I'm sure. I would have rathered RKO going at each other. Orton take him out of that triple threat, although that was a shock value that he won.
Mm-hmm.
Put him against Edge and have Orton close out WrestleMania 24 as the champ.
Okay. You know me, I'm an Orton guy, so I'll definitely take a main event with that. How about you, Molly?
All right, I got WrestleMania 9 as Rich has like to say the worst WrestleMania, definitely. But I like the Brett versus Yokozuna match, but I still feel like why was Yokozuna there? To me, he was just not. He was never appealing to me. I never really enjoyed him.
Vince at that time needed
big guys.
He needed big guys that weren't on steroids.
Yeah, so you go to.
You go to a big guy that's big.
Yeah, I honestly enjoyed Yokozuna
and Simone, yeah.
with Owen Hart. That's how I like to remember Yokozuna.
So I like Yokozuna with the second title reign, the one that didn't last 2 minutes, like the one from June to WrestleMania 10.
It made sense.
I like Undertaker. I mean, I like Yokozuna stuffing Undertaker inside of a casket.
There you go.
That's how I'll remember him.
But my remake of the match would be just completely cut Yokozuna out of that match and have Brett versus Hogan. You know, it's the two big guys at that point in time. Brett, like this young underdog coming to start, look at this little guy.
That's the thing, too. He wasn't even little. He was like 6'2", 250.
Well, compared to Hulk Hogan,
well, no, just saying,
who's
like,
roided out of his mind.
That's what I'm saying. Well, Hogan didn't want... They were supposed to wrestle at SummerSlam 93, which is like 6 months later. But Hogan didn't want to drop the title.
Yeah.
He said it would have dropped to Yokozuna because Yokozuna was a big guy. But the thing is, like, Bret Hart was a wrestler, and he was like 6'2", 250. Like, he wasn't like some
I guarantee
small...
you, too, if you put them two on a mat just to wrestle, like legitimate high school
Bret
wrestling, Bret Hart would have whooped his ass.
Time and a knot. There goes the censorship.
Oh, sorry.
There goes the censorship.
There you go.
There goes our sponsors.
I completely agree. So that was supposed to happen, but it didn't.
But Bret Hart versus Hogan, that would have been a hell of a WrestleMania match.
Oh my God!
He's going overboard right now. No, I don't mind it. We're TV 14, but no, that would have been. And that's what they needed too, because I always told Price from WrestleMania 8 to WrestleMania 9, just a transition of the roster.
Look at like, Michaels was like the hottest, like after 9, even going into 9, he was a hot wrestler.
Yeah, like good wrestler.
Okay,
well, he did do Playgirl.
Yeah. Of course.
That was a little later on.
Yeah, no, that was 3 years later. But no, I know what I mean.
Ooh.
Like, just the transition from it was like Hogan and Savage and Flair to Undertaker, Bret Hart, and Michaels. Do you know what I mean? Like, it was just a big transition. And
I would have Bret win that match to show like the underdog win. Pass the torch too, and it would be like the Daniel Bryan story, The underdog wins, and if Daniel, I don't think, got hurt, he would have held the belt for a while.
Yeah, I completely agree. Probably till SummerSlam, until it was Lesnar. I digress. I'm going to WrestleMania 27 on my end. Everybody knows that was Cena versus Miz. That was just a big flop. Even
the second worst WrestleMania, I think, ever.
I'd put that definitely in top 3 or 5. Like, definitely top 5. I can make an argument probably for top 2 or 3. But that was a big flop. Even with The Rock coming out and distracting Cena or attacking him with the rock bottom. I thought the best match on that card was CM Punk versus Orton.
Yes,
agree.
Okay.
Good storyline build up too. I think
very
from
good.
Elimination Chamber.
Definitely.
2 year prior. 2 years in the making.
It started off 2 years in the making. Yeah. CM Punk was the best heel on the. No matter, I always said Miz was a really hot heel until about Rumble. I don't know why. For me, I think he just lost it, kind of. I don't know why. Either that or he just wasn't taken seriously on a marquee name. Orton and CM Punk, they already had that marquee name there. CM Punk was probably going into Mania as the hottest heel. So obviously, biggest face Cena, second biggest face Orton, hottest heel CM Punk. I just thought that was a great, like. I don't know. You know what
Combustible elements put together.
I couldn't think. I was gonna say elements. I couldn't think of the word for it before, but that's just what I would have thought. And I thought that would have been a good main event to the co-main event, which was Undertaker and Triple H. And then obviously the mid card, they would need some fixing up to do. But I thought that this match could have saved WrestleMania 27. Well, Price, I know you were disagreeing with me before when I wrote this down. Do you have any more thoughts on it?
I just think that the CM Punk Orton match was just way too good for you to like change history.
That's true.
However, with that match, it probably would have came out the same. However, if Cena won, it would have ruined your moment.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I guess so. But that is our WrestleMania remake. Maybe next week we'll get into the thick of things with WrestleMania booking again, just to not keep this one stale. So when we come back, it'll be our self-high five. Last week we did wrestlers who should have won the WWE/F title prior to the brand extension in 2002. Well, this segment will be people that should have won during the brand extension from 2002 to 2013 around. So stay tuned. Self-high five.
Hey, I'm Rich Lopez from the PriMalLow Wrestling Show. Don't forget to hear our new episodes of the PriMalLow Wrestling Show on SoundCloud. Episodes are uploaded every Tuesday night. Thank you for tuning in.
Welcome back. It is time for our closing segment, which is our self high five. But first, Malloy, you did such a great job last week. What is it?
I get to go again. Yes. Twitter, follow us there at the PriMalLow Show. You can also listen to us on SoundCloud at the PriMalLow Wrestling Show. Like us on Facebook, the PriMalLow Wrestling Show, and you can also be a part of our group. We always talk about good topics.
What is it?
The PriMalLow Wrestling Show
Group. Thank you.
You can also read some of our blogs at Blogger. That is PriMalLowWrestlingShow.blogspot.com. And you can also listen to our weekly episodes at the PriMalLow Wrestling Show. Search that up on YouTube.
There we go.
And we love to take questions from you off of any of those platforms, anywhere, even on our questions, any kind of questions at all. I mean, we took a question in the past. Do wrestlers really bleed, or is it ketchup? So, I mean, we'll take everything.
Some people just,
that's not a bad question, but I'm just saying.
There's no such thing as a stupid question. That's what we always learned in class. So,
there's just such thing as a stupid
class
answer.
of hard knocks.
Yeah. So there you go. Just keep in touch. We love interacting with our fans. Now on to our closing segment, Self High Five. Malloy, great job. Price, way to add into.
Thanks.
Time for Self High Five. Wrestlers who should have won the title during the brand extension when there was a Raw brand and a SmackDown brand. That was about 2002 to 2013, so I'm definitely interested because with these two titles up for grabs, I feel like unlike last week's topic with prior, there's a lot more names that could be thrown in on this, so we should have a lot of different names compared to last week. So, Price, start it off.
My number 5 is Shelton Benjamin. My number 4 is a guy who's been recently in the news for WWE, Wade Barrett. My number 3, Cody Rhodes.
There you go.
My number 2, Kofi Kingston. And my number 1, Bobby Lashley.
Can't go wrong with Lashley. I just always forget that he was ECW champion, but that obviously is nothing.
No.
That's like the European. That's like the Intercontinental title.
That's like the NXT title, but with less prestige.
True.
No knock on ECW, but the second ECW
was just not there.
And Vince McMahon was champion.
It just wasn't there. Yeah. But
Can I explain?
Yeah,
Bobby Lashley, that match that he had with Cena was phenomenal. The push that they were giving him was phenomenal, and then he just left.
For Tiff, what was her name? Tiffany, right?
Yeah.
Is that her name? Tiffany?
I honestly have no idea why he left the company.
I think his girlfriend contract was up, where she had a dispute, and they were just dating 2 months in, and he just left with her.
That man crazy.
Well,
he made his money elsewhere. He did.
Yeah.
Bellator, right?
Bellator and
TNA.
a couple other wrestling promotions.
His last match was Bobby Lashley versus Angle, right? Well, he took part in Angle's retirement match from TNA.
Yes, and then he went over to Japan and he fought and he lost against a man who was a heavyweight champion.
I don't.
Messier,
I don't know.
something like that. He lost to him, but then Kimbo Slice won against him. So I mean,
nice.
The world of MMA is not our world. So
there we go.
There we go.
I want to hear Cody Rhodes and Wade Barrett.
Wade Barrett, because I'm afraid I've got some bad news, but he was a great wrestler who was deprived because of the fact of injuries.
Okay.
I think without the injuries, he would have either won a Money in the Bank or he would have won the World Heavyweight title, which is not the face of the company.
But just there. Just on
good
the market.
enough.
You definitely have merchandise at least.
With Cody Rhodes, I believe that he should have won the Money in the Bank briefcase over Damien Sandow, and he should have won the title.
Okay. Well, 5 through 1. Can't go wrong with you, by the way, Price.
5 through 1. I got Drew McIntyre, Cody Rhodes, Damien Sandow, Ryback, and Wade Barrett. That's my number 1.
I'm surprised you didn't have Ryback at number 1. It was just because he's still up there, maybe.
He's still up there, but at the fact I think that Wade Barrett, especially when he came with the Nexus, he should have got the belt.
That's
automatically. And also the fact when he feuded with Orton, if Orton had the world title then, remember I forget this.
I think he was groomed. That feud groomed him to win. They were supposed to do Money in the Bank at 27.
Yeah.
For some reason they didn't do it. He was supposed to win at 27. Then at 28, after that feud with Orton, they were definitely going to do it. But remember that Raw after Elimination Chamber where he dislocated his elbow and that disgusting thing? He was supposed to win it there. And then after that, I think they just
I think Wade Barrett
flag
is an over-the-top performer. I think Ryback honestly should have beat
CM Punk?
CM Punk in the Hell in a Cell match.
Yes.
Oh, the first year?
The first year, yeah.
I completely agree with you.
That would have been great. And honestly, I hate how CM Punk talks so much smack on Ryback. That's besides the point. It's for another episode.
Yeah.
I picked Sandow because he's just a good wrestler. He could have got it.
It was so good.
It was so good. he did the Hunter Hearst Helmsley gimmick on steroids and made it actually better than what Triple H did it as back in. And I'm a big Triple H guy.
Yeah.
To pick that and say he did it better.
Then he was one of the last people that were trained by Killer Kowalski.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact. So that's,
He had a
that's
great
awesome.
gimmick. I like that gimmick a lot.
And Cody Rhodes, I think if Cody Rhodes had that briefcase instead of Damian Sandow, I think Cody Rhodes versus Cena, and Cena actually put him over. It's to me, it's believable.
You know, it's
Bona
crazy,
fide
too.
star.
Cena probably would have done it because of the legacy of a road.
Yeah,
Right.
Rhodes, I should
and
say.
especially getting a world heavyweight title, even though it's not the WWE title.
You're on merchandise. That's what I always say.
Exactly.
Once you're a champion, you get on merchandise. No matter
And
what champion is.
This is to me is the biggest letdown of a superstar is Drew McIntyre because McMahon brought him in as the chosen one, and he could have did so much, but at the end of the day, he's just did nothing. He was in a 3-man band.
That domestic dispute thing killed his.
It killed his
push
stardom.
after
Yeah,
26, I think it was.
Yeah.
But so yeah, that sucks. But
he definitely could have been world champion.
No, he definitely
Him and
was.
Sheamus would have had a great storyline, I believe.
I don't have him on here because you guys both had him on here, but Cody Rhodes would be on my list. That's why I put that honorable mention. Wade Barrett too, right after Nexus, but I thought, especially with the bad news gimmick, I thought he had a second chance. It just didn't pan out for creative reasons. I don't know why. They just stopped with it, and it was upsetting. So my 5 through 1, just to not copy your names, I have Kofi Kingston at number 5, Carlito at number 4, Mr. Kennedy at 3, MVP at 2, and Shelton Benjamin at 1. Shelton Benjamin was just so athletic. It got me so mad reading reports that people, like officials backstage, thought he was lazy, but he just made everything look so easy.
That he couldn't.
That he didn't need to try.
He was a perfect talent.
He might need a little bit mic work, maybe, but
His best match, I think, was with Shawn Michaels.
Yeah, what have I always said about people on the mic? I mean, they do it with Lesnar. He can't talk.
Give him a manager.
Give him a manager. Just go back to the old school for 1 or 2 people. That's all you need to do, and you're set. So that's my number 1. Price for you. I thought you were gonna say something.
I was just going to ask you about MVP and
MVP.
Mr. Kennedy.
I was just gonna say pretty much MVP. Yeah, WrestleMania 23 against Benoit, that United States title match. I mean, for me, that's a who's who of a WrestleMania card, but it wasn't a main event, so it didn't get the marquee attention or whatever. But I thought that match was phenomenal.
Who did he face?
Should I say it?
No, I don't think so. I mean,
Chris Benoit.
Oh my God!
Broke the mold. Said
Whoa!
it. But that match was first of all, the whole feud, because I think they feuded until Judgment Day, which was 2 months later, and that's when he got the U.S. title. But that match was just amazing, and I thought he should have got Money in the Bank at 24. I thought CM Punk was already proven.
Yeah.
But I mean, I wasn't complaining about that one. If he didn't get it at 20, I said it like that. I thought CM Punk should have got it at 25. MVP should have got it at 24. My opinion. Mr. Kennedy, I thought they should have never let him lose the Money in the Bank title. Remember, he got injured and he lost it. I thought that he was so
He was supposed to be a McMahon's son.
Yeah, he was so great on the mic that he could have just not wrestled.
He could have done a Stone Cold.
Yeah,
he
talked
was
on the
injured.
mic for maybe a month or whatever till he's fully healthy, and then just cash in whenever he got healthy.
Well, it was even that. It was months in advance. He said that he was going to cash in at WrestleMania.
Exactly. So that would have been perfect. And then Carlito, everybody knows I'm a big Carlito fan, and I thought that feud with Cena, he went over and he was great. And that was in was that later? That was late 2004, early 2005, and then he got that like resurgence when he went over to Raw in 2006 / 2000. No, yeah, 2006, right? Yeah, he went over in 2005. He went over in the draft in 2005, and then he had that Elimination Chamber match in January of 06. And he was just hot. Like, he was really, really hot.
Now, how would you feel with the storyline? He stabs Cena in a nightclub again.
That was stupid. That was really stupid. I remember him and Jesus did that. Do you remember that?
Matt Morgan?
No, Jesus. That wasn't Jesus, was it?
Jesus.
I thought Matt Morgan.
Jesus, I'm sorry.
I thought Matt Morgan stabbed him.
I don't know what it was.
No, Matt Morgan was with
Jindrak, right?
Jindrak, and they were a part of team. Like, they were hanging out with Lesnar and those guys.
Who are we talking about now?
Carlito.
Carlito's awesome.
No, remember when he stabbed Cena in a nightclub?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like,
I was saying that's what he had to do to get the world title.
This is his gimmick, his T-shirts. It was just great, and all the people liked him, especially like the older generation with the sexual innuendos. Excuse me.
Now, I always loved Kofi Kingston when he faced Randy Orton. Can you tell me a little bit about Kofi Kingston for you? Because he's on my list as well.
He's on my list. He's just so athletic. He's another one. He didn't need to be WWE champion because he didn't have the size. He's very, very like kind of skinny. Like I thought he'd be the perfect IC champion, but obviously he was so athletically gifted that since there's a secondary, brand title, he would just fit that mold because of his athleticism. That feud with Orton, I mean, I don't know. I guess Orton maybe killed the push, but he was rolling. And I don't know. He just made some move. He made the RKO look too believable or something
No,
like
it was the powerbomb suplex thingy that he does. He throws him into the ropes and he goes really fast.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Kofi missed it, and live on Raw, he goes stupid, and then that.
Who
was
said
pretty
that?
much,
Randy Orton.
Orton,
said it?
yeah. Mm-hmm.
That was pretty much the end. It's a running power slam, power bomb.
Is that what it was?
Not power bomb.
No, because Orton does that power slam when he throws you into the ropes.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Okay.
Running power slam.
But yeah, it just, I guess Orton wasn't happy, and there was the push. So,
And
go ahead.
If you ever want to see a really good match with Kofi Kingston, in OVW he faced AJ Styles. It was a phenomenal match because OVW used to be
phenomenal.
Yeah, didn't even know about that. But that was when OVW had TNA and WWE stars in the same development.
Yeah. So, yeah, I just think Kofi was really, really good. Like I said, like you guys kind of touched on it. You had Wade Barrett, you had Cody Rhodes. Like I said, there's a lot of people you could have put on this. And
I think Matt Hardy could have worked with the World Heavyweight title.
maybe.
Honestly,
I thought he was perfect for ECW title. John Morrison was another one I could have put on here. I'm sorry. John Morrison was another one. I can't think of any other ones, but
Starship Pain.
yeah. So that is episode 47 and is in the books now. Stay tuned for next week. We're going to be pretty much WrestleMania heavy now since we just got done recapping Fastlane. So I know you guys want to do your sign-offs.
bye.
I am perfection.
We are on the road to WrestleMania. Stay tuned for episode 48. Thank you for tuning in.